as the king looked upon his kingdom for one last time, he didn't see the prosperous nation he knew. He saw the eye of death. Very deep meanings are hidden in these words, meanings we can't comprehend without context. If a writer gave me these lines and asked me to comprehend it, I would obviously have some questions. Again, due to a lack of context. Questions like, why was this the last time the king looked upon his kingdom? Or why is this kingdom being compared to the eyes of death? The basis of these questions is a lack of context. So, why don't we add some context? Let's craft a small little story out of this. Let's give both the king and the kingdom some character development, and obviously provide a background of them. We know that the characters are nearing the end of something. So giving an apt context to these lines would sound something like this. Wars that came to the kingdom initiated its demise. The king and the kingdom that once stood high in the pedestal of power now watch quietly, letting destiny take over. As the king looked upon his kingdom for one last time, he didn't see the prosperous nation he knew. He saw the eyes of death. And this is the art of storytelling. Before I begin with the main content of my talk, let me give you a small disclaimer of sorts. To completely understand about the things I'm going to tell you and actually apply it in your writing, you need to learn to stop taking in stories at face value. I want all of you to ignore the obvious meanings, because what's the fun in reading them? When you write to an audience, be sure to add a few hidden meanings, a certain depth to your stories. So even after they're done reading, they'll think. It'll provoke a sense of thought in them. And if you manage to do that, congratulations, you are now a storyteller. Because genuine thoughts, like diamonds, are very, very rare to come by. With that, my friends, welcome to a journey worth taking. Stories. Stories are all around us, hidden in the little things that go unnoticed. You master the art of storytelling only if you discover these hidden gems and craft brilliant stories out of it. Everybody has a story, so open your eyes and look. The world is your inspiration. Wait, why is this art suddenly so important? The world is changing at a rapid pace. We are only a few years away from complete artistic computerization. Well, telling a good story requires your brain, your tongue, and your heart to work efficiently. Once you learn to convey efficiently, you think efficiently. So if we look at it that way, storytelling is a very valid, important 21st century skill. Let's look at the specifics of the story. What you need to craft one, and where you get them from. Your characters are all around you. Your location is whatever you can imagine. The only limit your story has is your imagination. Now, when talking about crafting the perfect story, we need to compare the template of a perfect story with the template of a story that you already like or admire. When you do that, you will realize that the standard introduction, body, and climax don't really exist in each and every one of these stories. And more often in interesting stories, you rarely find a definite ending. You will usually find something called a cliffhanger. And no, this isn't the character of the story hanging off a little cliff, but rather a way to conclude a story without revealing what happens next, leaving the audience to theorize about what might have happened in the end. A brilliant example of that would be Christopher Nolan's mind-boggling masterpiece, Inception. In the end of this movie, we never really realize what's going on. And to this day, people still theorize about what the director was trying to convey to us. And speaking about inception, one more thing you can add to your story is another story. Weird? Not really. This story within a story technique is ages old. Storytellers like Nolan have been using such methods to layer their stories and add oceans of emotions into their flow of events. To do this, you can involve flashbacks or visions these characters might have. This not only allows you to give the readers an insight into the emotional beginnings of your characters, it also gives you, the author, room to expand and explore your possibilities. Now, once you have an inspiration, write down the main events of your story, almost like making notes, but a bit more organized and chronological. Once you have your story's timeline down, start working on the type of storytelling that you want to pursue. On the basis of timeline, there are two types of storytelling, linear and non-linear. Linear storytelling is relatively simple. You have a timeline of events and you convey it in the order of occurrence, not breaking your timeline even once in the process. Let me give you an example of linear storytelling. Hugo walked towards the light. The brightness of this light blinded his eyes as he approached the source of it. The world seemed to slow down for Hugo, stopping to a standstill. Now, non-linear storytelling is when you cut your timeline into different fragments and shuffle those pieces to give a more dramatic effect to a story. Now, if the same story I showed was conveyed in a non-linear format, this is how it will look like. When the world stood to a standstill, Hugo remembered the light blinding him as he walked towards it, slowing down the world along with it. If there's anything I'm trying to convey today, it's just that there is no single way to tell a story. The art of storytelling has been developing since generations and generations. Ever since the millennial times and civilizations that existed years and years ago, the art of storytelling has been developing and will continue to develop. From concrete jungles to burning forests and to every little thing in between. Your stories need to be set free into the world. Why? Because you and I are just characters in this epic story called life. Thank you.